All right, team, you're here with me, Coach Chicken Legs, and today we're going to look at the 5 tests you must run in your programming to be able to help out your client. So let's begin. The big problem we have in programming is we don't often track our metrics well enough when we're starting off and beginning. To help us fix that, I've built a 5-test series to do, so that way, as you're programming and going along with your client, you have constant touching of bases to be able to prove that what you're doing in programming is working, and to help keep the client more consistent because they see that what you're giving them to do is working for them. When we're doing our 5 tests, and I suggest all of your programs have at least 5 things that you're tracking, we're gonna look and break it down into 5 things. The first 2, I'm gonna say, are the quick tests. I have 2 medium tests, and I have 1 long-term test. Okay, what does that mean? It means a quick test is something I can do straight away on the day when I first meet them, when I do some of my first programming with them in the first couple of weeks or days or hours of sessions that I do with them, and I can do it whenever I want and relatively quickly. The second type of test that we're going to look into are tests that I get done throughout the program that require a little bit of time to see results in. Our quick results and our quick testing we can see immediately. Our medium style testing takes a little bit longer. And then our long-term testing model, our long-term test we're doing, is something that might take the period of the whole program, or it might be a test that we have that's directly related to the goal of the client. So if the client wants to lose 30 kilos, the test might be how close they are away from losing 30 kilos. But when we're looking at quick tests that we want to do on the fly, I use stuff like weigh-ins. So in an induction, I might weigh a client so we can see exactly how far off they are from their goal, and to demonstrate a bit of urgency to that client that what they're doing currently isn't working and we can help provide the change. So a very quick standing on the scales is a great quick test I can do every other week, and I can do as soon as I've met the client and we see the results on the floor. I might do a hand squeezing caliper test. That also works for a quick test because I can get a result immediately. I might do something like a measurement around a limb or body part that they want to be bigger or smaller. So if they're trying to lose mass around their waist, I can measure there and then how big they are relative to how big they want to be. If they want to gain muscle around a bicep, I can put a measurement strap around them and see exactly how far off we are from that measurement. So these really quick tests are fantastic to getting the client in the door, and we can test regularly so that way we're good to go, proving to them that what we're doing is working and to help keep them motivated. Really, really useful. A second test could be something like a beep test, a step-up test, a 1RM test. I might ask the client to see how many burpees they can do in 3 minutes. Something that I'm not testing all the time, but it might come up periodically throughout my 12, 8 or 6 week program or my 12-month program. Something that I test every now and again. So the reason it's called a middle test is because it takes about a middle amount of time between the 3 to see an improvement on. So if I ask the client to do as many ground to standings as they can in 3 minutes, or hold a plank for as long as they can for 3 minutes, or just as long as they can, it will be a little bit of time before we'll see any improvement in that area. Okay? So that's why we choose medium tests. We do them regularly, but the results of your work won't come up straight away, versus your quick test, we can see drop-offs relatively quickly. So for the middle of your program might be where I put these tests. So I might decide, for a client example, for the first 12 weeks of their program, in the first week I test their weight and I test their hand strength. And then I might test their ability to do a ground to standing if they're an older client and that's something they care about. Or I might test perhaps their ability to do a beep test if they're a sprint athlete client or an endurance sports client. Good rule of thumb, whatever tests you choose to do for your client, try to keep them within the goals that they're trying to do. So what I mean by that is if you've got a strength athlete who's gonna care about their weights and also the measurements around their arms, I'm probably not gonna get them to do sprint training or beep testing because they really don't give much of a shit about it. I'll probably get them to do something more like how many weights, how heavy can they lift stuff along the time horizon that is my program, their 1RM testing, these kind of things. For my long-term goal, I might choose stuff like 1RM tests. I might use weight to demonstrate that they've lost X amount of weight in X amount of time. Doesn't matter. I like using weight along the whole 3 journey, but it is. Hey team, if you're liking this content, what I need you to do is follow us, support us, leave comments. We're here to help programmers be better at programming, make coaches and PTs the best of the best that we can, and it starts with programming and it starts with you. Share, like, subscribe. Really good is if you can prove to them that in your 12-week program, they've lost 3 kilos as promised, as we decided at the start, and at the end, we use each of our 3 metrics to check in, but at the very end, we've shown them that we did the thing. Another good one is a 1RM testing, which for those who don't understand that terminology, just means 1 rep maximal training. So we're training to see how strong they are once. So in their first couple of weeks, I might get them to do a 1RM squat. And then as the sessions progress and as the programs progress and I'm tracking them their metrics and I'm seeing that they're improving, I then retest the marker a couple weeks later, maybe a couple months later, so I can see as if what I have done has improved them. And so too they can see as well. But since it's a long-term goal, it's one of those ones that it might not happen over the period of a month, it might happen over the period of 3. It could take a whole year, who knows? But your long-term goals are always exactly that. Your long-term testing is for long-term timeframes. Your middle 2 tests are for your middle time frame, and your quick tests I can do whenever I want, and hopefully I'll see improvements in them. Note that this is quite a quick thing to test. This might take a little bit longer, and this might take a whole session. So they fall into these 3 categories for many reasons. They're quick to do, they're quick to see results, they are medium amount of time to do, and it's a medium time to see change, and a long time to test it, and it takes a long time to see change in it. We can do flexibility related goals. We can track clients' weights. So if they're doing bench press every week, we want to track to see if they're improving. We want to track their max wall sit. We want to track their push-ups. It doesn't matter, but the more stuff you can track, the clearer the evidence is that what you're trying to get them to do is working. So that way we can adjust the program as we need. If you're just going into programming blind and hoping that what you're asking to do is working, that is a sign that you're not good at programming, and it will be reflected in the results you can provide to your clients. So you must have tests, team. 5 tests is more than enough, but there is no harm in doing more. You are not allowed to do less than 5 tests if you ever work with me. 5 tests is the minimal standard. You can always do more because there's no harm in getting more data, but no less than 5 for any one client in any program. This is even true in your group classes. In your group classes, if you write a 12-week group class, I should be seeing 5 improvements in each of my clients. I should be testing them. I don't care if you have 20 clients in each group class, you should still be tracking their metrics because the rules are the same. The client will trust you more if you can prove to them that you're getting results for them. It is better for your own education to know that your programs work because the proof is in the evidence, it's in the pudding. And it's super, super important for your marketing when you can say that these things work. You can advertise that your clients have lost 5 kilos to the number with you. You might get in your testing to get the client to take a photo of themselves before and after they decided to start training with you over the period of a couple months or a long-term goal. And then that becomes your marketing later in your journey. So we must do these things because they then pay off later for us. If we can say that 90% of our clients that we've helped improve in 5 areas of their fitness, because we have the stats to back up that number, that will help us with selling and marketing. If we can guarantee clients results using our long-term plans, and we can show them that 10 people before have had these results because here are my tests to prove it, that's awesome. Now, you might find that the programming metric you're using at the minute, whether that be True Coach, that might be Google Sheets, whatever, they might not have fantastic testing metrics for you, particularly if you're using Google Sheets. That's okay. As you start making more income, you can start investing in things that will make this tracking system easier For example, True Coach has tracking metrics if that's the direction you want to go and can afford True Coach. But let's summarize and really emphasize this point. You must have a minimum of 5 tests for each client, and you must have 5 tests ongoing for a program that you're writing. The tests have to be related to the goal. What is the group class trying to achieve that you've set? And what is the goal of the individual client that you might have in a one-on-one? You then choose 2 quick tests to perform, things you can do on the spot and you can see changes on them regularly. 2 medium length goals that might take a little bit longer to achieve, but can still see results every couple of weeks to keep people motivated. And then 1 long-term goal that we might test at the very start of the program and at the very end to prove to them that we've got results in the areas that they care about. Do not give them tests that they don't care about. Bodybuilders don't want to run, runners don't want to care about their 1RMs. Make sure that you're tailoring this to your client. Don't give them shit just to make yourself sound smart. That is not our goal here. Our goal here is to test stuff that matters for the client. If the client doesn't care about their flexibility, don't demonstrate to them that you've improved their flexibility. They didn't care the first time and they don't value the test when you do it. But on the other side of that coin, if they do care about flexibility, provide them regular proof that you're improving that space. Team, I'll provide a list for you in the bottom of the description of this video of some examples of short, medium, and long goals. Stuff like DEXA scans, stuff like before and after photos, body fat percent checkers. These things are all really relevant. You need to know where they sit inside of these 3 different platforms for testing. Keep an eye out for that. Try it on yourself. Track your own metrics. Track 5 things in your own training to see if you're actually improving or you're just assuming that you're improving. Good rule of thumb, whenever you're doing any of these videos and any of these tasks, try it on yourself first to prove that it works. That way, it's way more confidence when you're trying to sell it to the client. Until next time, look out, make sure you pay this forward, team, help the next person next to you, and try your best to improve your programming.